Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Going on my cheat sheet for today's only main slate for today on DraftKings. And boy, do we have an awesome slate today. It's a full 15 gamer, so every team's going to be on the slate. We got good high-end pitching options. We got good mid-range pitching options. We got a good low-end option. We got great bats in good spots, like the Red Sox are in Coors Field. The Rockies are going against Porcello. The Nationals are playing the Orioles, and Aaron Brooks pitching. We got the Yankees on the slate versus Kikuchi, so a lot of good options. It looks like it's going to be a really fun slate, so really looking forward to breaking this down. Anyway, before we continue though, in the comment section below, I want you guys to comment on my question I'm about to ask you. So who is your favorite SP1 option for tomorrow? So there's a lot of good high-end pitching options, and honestly, it's pretty hard to pick one. So I didn't pick one at the moment because I'm going to dive deeper into it tomorrow. But I'm just curious to see who you guys' favorite pitching option is tomorrow. I'm thinking at the moment it might be Corbin, but Buehler's right there too, and obviously Castillo. So I didn't really just answer my question at all. I like all three, but I'm curious to see who you guys like the best out of those three, or even if you want to put Verlander in there too. Up to you. And then, anyway, before we continue again, you guys can hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out, and I really appreciate that. And so you guys don't miss any of the new content, I'd recommend hitting that notification bell so you don't miss out any of the new videos. And again, like always, if you'd like access to my Time sheet and my Slack chat, link is in the description below for my Patreon. And now let's dive into today's slate. Oh, and also I'm posting my wide receiver video after I record this video, and then I record that. So that'll be coming out soon too. So anyway, let's dive into the sheet. So at pitcher, we got a lot of options here. I apologize. I try to keep it condensed to about 3 pitchers, but there's just so many good options. It's such a big slate. I wanted to list all the guys I like. So we got Walker Buehler, Castillo, Corbin. And then in the mid-range, we got Pineda, Plutko. And then for the value, we got Adrian Houser. So let's dive into the pitching sheet, and hopefully I don't forget any of the guys I like on here because there's quite a few. So let's go up top and talk about, well, I guess Verlander's up top, and so is Giolito, but not too interested in those guys. Obviously, Verlander's an awesome play almost every single time, but I want to save some salary. I want to pay for a high-end guy, but if I can save salary with a guy that has similar upside, I'm going to do that, especially on this slate. So let's talk about Patrick Corbin. He's been great this season. 3.64 xFIP, 28% strikeout rate, 7% walk rate's not too bad. Good ground ball rate at 48%. He's got great numbers versus lefties. Obviously, he's a lefty. Only an 0.62 ISO, giving up 38% strikeout rate, which is even better than Verlander's versus lefties. Gives it up a little bit to the righties, but still a 26% strikeout rate. And the thing I like the most is he's a huge favorite going into this game. I think he's about negative 300 right now. He's at home, which is good because Orioles Park, Camden Yards is not a good park to pitch in. And if you look at the Orioles splits versus lefties, it is not very good. Now, it's good for Corbin as it's a really soft matchup. So, as you see, 26% strikeout rate to lefties, 154 team ISO, 301 team MOBA, and 85 WRC+. Plus. All signs are pointing to Corbin having a pretty good game, so definitely don't mind making him your SP1. Right below him, we got Walker Buehler, who's 200 cheaper, and he draws himself a good matchup too. Hopefully, Dustin May has a good game, because I did like him. And Walker Buehler is obviously a much better pitcher than Dustin May, even though Dustin May is a top prospect. But Walker Buehler's been excellent this season. 3.3 xFIP, 29% strikeout rate, 4% walk rate, 24% K-BB, which I didn't mean to say that, but I just went with it since I was already saying it. And just great numbers all around, just elite versus lefties and righties. And the thing I like here is the matchup versus San Diego, who strikes out a lot versus righties. They're missing Tatis, so that just makes their lineup even worse. And last time Buehler played the San Diego Padres, that's when he went the complete game, 16 strikeout game, right? So every time I do this, I start my video, the fan goes off. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. It's not a fan, it's a dehumidifier, but I guess you guys probably don't even care. So, yeah. So like I said, San Diego, he just dominated them last time out, 51 DraftKings points, I believe. Obviously not expecting 51 DraftKings points again, but I think 30 points to 40 points is definitely in play here. Love Walker Buehler in this matchup. If you want to make him your spend up, I think he is a fantastic option. And then the last spend up guy I want to talk about is Luis Castillo, and he actually comes in at a fair price at $10,000 compared to the rest of these guys. He's going to allow you to afford better bats. And yeah, 3.53 xFIP, 28% strikeout rate. Lost my spot. 9% walk rate is a little up there, but still elite numbers all around. 54% walk rate, only a 27% fly ball rate. The Marlins are not very good versus righties. This is a great park for pitching. He's a favorite going into this game. Why? I should take that back. I forget because Caleb Smith's on the mound on the other side, but I imagine he's the favorite. If not, it's close. It's a low Vegas total. It's a great part for pitching. It might be a little bit harder for him to get the win with Caleb Smith pitching because he's a good pitcher too, but definitely Luis Castillo, if you look at the Marlins numbers versus righties, not very good. 25% strikeout rate, 124 team ISO, which is by far the lowest on the slate by about 20 points. 283 team WOBA, 75 WRC plus. Luis Castillo should have a really good game, and he's only at 10,000. I can see him being very popular, and it's for good reason. A lot of upside here. 30-point upside at only 10,000. And then some SP2 options. Michael Pineda at 7,800. Is he the best pitcher in the world? No, but he's pretty solid. He consistently gets you in the teens. He's only 7,800. He draws himself a good matchup, so I do like him tomorrow going up against... Oh, I forgot for a second. The White Sox, sorry. Going up against the White Sox, who are not very good versus right-handed pitching. If you look at their splits this season, let me scroll over. They own a 26.3% strikeout rate, which is the highest on the slate. Actually, I take that back. The Tigers have the highest strikeout rate to righties by 0.2%, but nonetheless, very good matchup for him. Only a 141 team ISO, 293 team MOBA, 81 WRC plus. He's a favorite going into this game. I think Pineda is a fine option. Giolito is on the other side, which might make it tough for the Twins offense, but the Twins offense is obviously very good. White Sox bullpen isn't very good. If they can get to Giolito quick, it's even better for Pineda's chances at the win. So, I do like Pineda as a nice SP2 option. Honestly, if you want to make him your SP1 option and then use Hauser as your SP2, it's not the worst in the world. If the high-end pitchers don't hit value and you can just load up cores, I think that's okay too. And then we also have Adam Plutko, and this is really just a matchup play. His numbers are not that good, but he's cheap, and if you look at Detroit splits versus righties, it's very good for him as they have a 26.5 strikeout rate, 26.5% strikeout rate, 149 team ISO. Team up is not very good either, and the WRC plus is very low 70s. So good matchup for Plutko. He's a slight favorite in this game. If he can get you 15 points, I think you'd be pretty happy with that because your bats would probably be really good if you're using Plutko. And then if we go all the way down here, we have Mr. Adrian Hauser, who we played last time out versus the Cardinals. Now, I usually don't like using pitchers that just played the same team because it tends to not work out all the time, but he's only 5,000, and he's a much better pitcher than 5,000. I honestly don't understand the pricing with him. He's had some pretty good, consistent games this season, and he has 20-point upside, and at 5,000, I would take that every single day. And now I know the Cardinals are absolutely pounding the Brewers right now, but I liked the Cardinals a lot last night, so I'm very glad they're doing that, but they're not as good versus righties compared to lefties, so I don't think they're going to have an amazing game. Most of the hitters are worse versus righties, and if you look at Hauser's numbers, they're not that bad. 3.64 xFIP, 24.5% strikeout rate, 54% ground ball rate, 24% fly ball rate. Now, he's pitching at home, which isn't the best park for pitching, but he is a favorite, so I think Hauser is actually a really, really good option. He's a core play for me. He's going to allow us to spend up on pitcher and then spend down for him, and then you have some leeway with your bats. You can fit in a couple cores guys, and I mean, it's not going to really hurt your lineup. So I think that's the way to go tomorrow. Hauser is your SP2. It's what I'm going to be doing unless something changes tomorrow, but I just love the price tag on him, and it makes a lot of sense. The Cardinals are not the worst team in the world versus righties, but they're not the best either, and we really don't need much for value here. We need about 10 points, and honestly, he's got upside for more. The last time out versus the Cardinals, I think he got just almost about 20 points. I know he gave up a run one of the last things he was out, which kind of hurt, but he was doing very well. But if you look at the Cardinals splits versus righties, you see some green bars here, which we do like to see. So, I like it a lot. So, I think Hauser is a fine option at only 5K. So that was a lot about pitching. Sorry, but I mean, I guess pitching is important, so I guess I'm not sorry. So let's go into the bats now. So we got Gary Sanchez, 4,500 versus Kikuchi. Kikuchi's not a very good pitcher. I know recently he had that really, really good game, but that's an outlier. Yankees should smash here. Seattle doesn't have the best bullpen in the world. Makes a lot of sense to me. Nationals catcher, so Kirk Suzuki or Yan Gomes. They're both. I love the offense. I love the offense as a whole. So whoever's in the lineup, I think it's a good play. Then Mathis and Stassi, or Stacy, however you say it, both find themselves going up against lefties where they're a little bit better versus lefties. Now, they're not very good players whatsoever, but again, you don't need much for value. And if I'm going to punt a position, make it the catcher position mostly. Then at first base, we got Matt Adams, who's a core play for me at 4,500 as long as he's in the lineup. I would imagine he is. Versus Aaron Brooks, who's just not a very good pitcher. The Orioles bullpen's not very good. Nats have one of the highest implied totals on the slate. They should smash. They've been hitting well recently. Love Matt Adams versus bad righties. Mitch Moreland at 4,800 versus Rico Garcia. And I don't know a lot about this guy, but in the AAA this season, he's got a 7.12 ERA. Just the numbers didn't look very good at all, so I imagine the Red Sox are going to smash here. I see no reason why they can't. Mitch Moreland's always been very good versus righties. I say load up the Red Sox tonight, or tomorrow night, whenever you're watching this video. Daniel Murphy, 4,700 versus Rick Porcello, who's always struggled versus lefties. So I think Daniel Murphy makes a lot of sense at 4,700. Love the Rockies and the Red Sox tomorrow. It should be a really high-scoring game. Second base, we got Gleyber Torres at 4,800 versus Kikuchi. Torres hits lefties and righties well. I like the Yankees as a whole tomorrow. So it makes no sense why I wouldn't like Torres. His price actually came down. He was about 5,100 tonight, so I like the price dip there. Kevin Newman, 4,300. Hopefully he does something. He was my second baseman tonight, or shortstop. I forget. But he was hitless at the moment, 0 for 2, so we'll see. But he's been pretty good versus lefties. He's been hitting the ball well recently. Smiley gives up some power. Now he has some strikeout upside, but does give up the power, so Newman could be a cheap home run there. Then Brian Dozier, just some Nationals exposure, and he's below 4K, so I do like the price there. Then at third base, we have Rafael Devers, 5,800. He's quite possibly the number one play from a raw points standpoint. Blackman's up there as well, but I think Devers is an awesome play. He's been amazing this season. Nothing not to like about Devers. He absolutely crushes right-handed pitching. Rico Garcia is probably going to get shelled here, so do like Devers tomorrow. Nolan Arenado, 5,600, just also in Coors Field. I know he's better versus lefties, but Rick Porcello is not that good anymore, and I love this game and for both offenses. Then Eugenio Suarez, 4,000, going up against a good pitcher in Caleb Smith, but I just love the price tag here. He's really, really good versus lefties, so I don't mind taking a shot there, even though it's a tough matchup. Then at shortstop, Trevor Story. We have Trevor Story at 5,600 versus Rick Porcello. Trevor Story's been great versus righties this season. Porcello's not that great versus righties or lefties. So if I have to pick between Story and Arenado, I am going to pick Story, and they're the same price, so it doesn't make it that hard for me. And then if you can afford Devers and Story, I think that's awesome. Gene Segura, 4,300. He's been great versus lefties this season. Stephen Brault struggles with right-handed bats, so I do like Gene Segura. He's a really good salary saver, and he offers you some upside. Then Trey Turner at 5,400 versus Aaron Brooks. He's been better versus righties this season. Aaron Brooks is not a very good pitcher. Love the Nationals tomorrow. Makes sense. He should be lower on than Story, too. And in the high-end outfield, we have Charlie Blackmon at 5,700 versus Rick Porcello. Blackmon's great versus righties. This game should go off. Like Blackmon tomorrow if you can afford him. Then we have the entire Red Sox outfield. So that's JD Martinez, Mookie Betts. Andrew Benintendi is hurt at the moment. I don't know if he's going to be in the lineup. But if he is, obviously like him too. I think they're all elite plays tomorrow if you can afford them. Obviously, you can't afford every single of these, one of these high-end bats. You're going to have to pick and choose. But definitely think they're near the tops if you want to just pick out one of them. And then we have the Nationals outfield. It's very expensive. Juan Soto is 5,400. I think Adam Eaton's 5K. But they find themselves in a great spot versus Aaron Brooks. So if you can afford them and you want to do a full Nats stack, I do like that a lot. Then in the mid-range outfield, we have Aaron Judge at 4,500. I can see him being very popular again. I assume he's going to be popular. I say again. I don't know his ownership yet for tonight, but I assume it's going to be popular. Should be popular again versus Kikuchi. Again, not a very good pitcher. Judge has been hitting better recently, so do like that. And then we have Ian Desmond, 4,300. If he's in the lineup, he's cheap. Of course, field exposure. Jackie Bradley Jr. at 4,200. Cheap lefty versus Rico Garcia in Coors Field. And in the value outfield, we have Jorge Soler, 4K. Now, I know McFiers has been pretty decent this season, but he's worse versus righties. And Soler's got a ton of power, especially versus righties. And he's only 4K, so it could be a cheap home run there. Franmil Reyes, 3,900 versus Spencer Turnbull. Turnbull's actually giving out more power to righties this season. Reyes is better versus righties in the power department. He makes some sense. He's cheap. Detroit bullpen's not very good either. Chris Davis is dirt cheap versus Mike Montgomery, who's not a very good pitcher. He was chalked that one night, which I couldn't believe. But, yeah, I know Chris Davis is absolutely on ice cold right now, but you never know. He could get a cheap home run there, but he has sucked, I will say that. Trent Grisham, he has not been making the lineup recently, and he's been batting 7th if he does. So, but if he's in the lineup, I don't mind taking a shot there at 3,300. Then Josh Rojas at 2K. He's min price, and if he's in the lineup, I think that's a good salary saving option. Although if I'm going to punt a position, I'm probably going to be catcher. But if we're going to punt the outfield, which I probably shouldn't, I think he's an okay option. And then for the core plays, we got Hauser, 5K, Adams at 4,500, Aaron Judge at 4,500. Now, if you're doing like full stacks, feel free to use Murphy at first base, and not feel free to change it up with stacks. But as of right now, these are looking like really good cash game options at the moment. Although I will say Adams does have the potential to get a pinch hit, but I think we can get a homer out of him versus Brooks. And then the top stacks are the Red Sox in Coors Field, the Nats versus Brooks, the Rockies versus Porcello in Coors Field, and the Yankees versus Kikuchi. And obviously there's other teams I like too, but I can't fit I didn't want to list 30 teams I like, so that's my top 4 for right now. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Remember to leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate that. And hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content. Check out the NFL video that I'm going to be posting really soon. And I wish you guys the best of luck and happy Tuesday. Nothing really exciting about Tuesdays, but just try to make it better.